What's going on, golf addicts? It is time, as we do every major. I love this show. It's a great time with my boy Kenny McAndress. Bringing him up in just a second. We're going to talk about some nukes, baby. We're going to talk a little bit about our outrights. We do every major. My technology every freaking time I do this. All right, we're going to talk a little bit about outrights. We're going to talk props. We're going to talk some nationality bets. Going to talk some placement bombs. Might build us a little parlay at the end. Maybe some 3-ball discussion. It is the Wednesday before the Open Championship at Royal Troon. I'm pumped. Coffee golf, baby. The last major of the year. It kind of sucks, though, because it's like we're so far away from the next one, here in Augusta in April in 2025. The world seems like it will – I don't know. What's it going to look like in April of 2025? I don't know. But I'm pumped to have the conversation with my boy Kenny. Going to bring him up. Want to thank our friends at Swanee's Golf. If you've not checked out the apparel over there at Swanee's, this fresh shirt I got on. Obviously, the hat is all Swanee's. We appreciate Swanee sponsoring the show. Check them out. TJ25 gets you 25% off your entire order. You can get decked out yourself. They got stuff for the ladies. They got stuff for the children's. So check them out. Swanees.co. The link is in the description of the show. And code TJ25 gets you 25% off your entire order. That's a big, big discount. Okay, so thank you to Swanee's. Support them. Support the Tour Junkies, and let's get into this. Let me bring in my boy Kenny McAndress in the Guinness shirt, looking fresh as always. Hey, buddy, good to see you.
What's up, baby?
You ready to cook it up?
I am, man. Like I feel like I'm afraid to admit this every year, but I think when I look at myself in the mirror and I just want to be honest with myself, I think this is my favorite major. I really do. There's just something about the Open, something about the British Open, as the Americans call it. It's just, I don't know. I feel like I have so many memories of like waking up at like 4 a.m. before school to watch like the early rounds at St. Andrews and stuff. And it's just, I don't know, when you think of golf history and you think of just the, sort of the beauty of the legacy of golf, I don't know. My mind goes to the Open Championship, maybe just ever so slightly before the Masters. I know that's like anti-American. I love the Masters. You're a hometown boy, so I'm not gonna sway you here, but I really do. I love this major. It's got a very, very soft spot in my heart.
Yeah, it's hard for me to. It would be very hard for me to put it over the Masters, with like having been to the Masters as much as I have and the memories I have of that place, obviously, but it is, even despite that, it's so close to overtaking it. And a lot of that comes from, and you've not, if I remember correctly, you've not been over there and like played golf in Scotland or been walked around and seen some of those old courses and that history.
Oh, yeah.
Like, once I did that in 2022, that like freaking skyrocketed my love and affinity for the Open Championship and the kind of golf that we get to see here. This side of the world, and it is a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun to talk about. Let me say this, dude. That hole number 11. I was watching something. We didn't plan on talking about this, but hole number 11 on Royal Troon. I was watching the golf live at the range this morning while I was prepping, and they were talking about that hole. It's like 498 par 4 from the tips. You've got the railroad thing all down the right. OB immediately right. You're hitting a blind tee shot. All you can see is course. The fairway runs actually like diagonal. So it's not even if you have the right sight line, it's not a like straight shot. You're hitting into a diagonal fairway with gorse all on the left. They're saying that the fairway width is only about 20 to 22 yards wide. And it's basically, you have to rip driver because it's a 500-yard par 4.
It reminds me a lot of like the road hole at St. Andrews.
A little bit.
The slight dog leg right, trouble on both sides, and you're hitting blind. And yeah, you kind of. I know some guys would take 3-wood at the road hole, but then you're 200 out into a green that's protected by the toughest bunker in the world. So yeah, we're just watching some of the videos of that. Even the way that the fairway is slanted, it gives me road hole vibes.
Well, I was thinking, so I thought to myself, how many times would I have to play that hole from the tips in like some Scottish weather, maybe 15 to 20 mile an hour wind, maybe a little drizzle, 58, 55 degrees. Like, how many times would I have to play that hole before I made a par from the tips?
I think for me, it would be, I think I would need 20 shots. I think I would need 20.
Yeah.
because I would have to hit the absolute drive of my life. My long
Yeah, me
irons,
too, dude.
my long irons aren't good, so I'm probably going to hit just like a 6-iron as far as I can, and then I'm going to be bump and running my 8-iron. It's just going to be how close can I bump and run my 8-iron
Yeah.
to a makeable putt.
Yeah, like without chipping, like how many times would it take me to make a professional par? Like hit the fairway, hit the green and reg, make the 2-putt. How many times? Like
That I'm not doing.
I bet I could make the par before that, just chipping in or luck boxing, like you know what I mean, like doing something ridiculous. But that hole's so freaking difficult. All right, we got to talk about weather. We got to talk about weather constantly before the Open, as we know it always has a major advantage. I put something in my Discord earlier today. The Open Championship since 2004 has had the largest wave split advantage between round 1 and 2 with an average of 1.4 strokes. That's the average wave split advantage. The PGA has averaged 1.1, the U.S. Open 0.8, and the Masters 0.6 over that same period. The average PGA Tour event is about 0.8 strokes since 2004. So it's almost double the average advantage that we see on the PGA Tour. But from what I'm looking at, I got 3 different sources pulled up right now. I got Windfinder, I got Wonderground, and I got bbcweather.com.
What is that?
BBC, BBC.
Yeah. Gotcha.
I got to get, you got to get local. You got to get local with it. Based on all of this, it seems as though we're not going to have much of an advantage to me. And we have seen in Open Championships where even a small window of a wave can have a big advantage, like Henrik Stenson and Phil Mickelson had in 2016 here at Royal Troon. But it just seems like it's pretty standard, high 50s, low 60s both days. Pretty standard Scottish gusts in the low to mid 20s both days. Sustained winds in the low to mid teens both days. It's going to rain a little bit, but nothing looks serious. It doesn't look to have like a ton of rainfall, just maybe a sprinkle, a little drizzle here and there. I don't see a huge advantage outside of a small window, maybe earlier, the earlier guys on Friday morning. And I'm talking about like guys that can get out and get most of their round done prior to like 11 or 12.
Yep.
There are a couple of names in there that I like. Outside of that, I don't see much. Do you?
About the same. I see and again, this is as of right now, and this it's Scotland. This could change on a dime pretty quickly here. But yeah, I think a ever so slightly edge to PM AM. It looks like Thursday is pretty uniform across the board. I don't think it really matters what time you're teeing off on Thursday. I just think between Thursday AM PM, Friday AM PM, the clear worst of that looks to be Friday PM. So I think just avoiding that, I would give a slight edge to Thursday. Excuse me, to just overall PM AM. I think with this too, it's like there's 2 schools of thought. Either you wait it to bet outrights, you waited to get a clear picture of the weather, and then you tried to get whatever numbers you liked with whatever your wave splits were. Or you rolled the dice and you got guys at their more attractive numbers early and then hope that they fell into the wave. So I'll be honest, that was the path that I took. I was more concerned with grabbing what I believe to be just good numbers as opposed to waiting for the wave. And I got lucky here. Again, I know that we think it's a slight edge, but I think there's a slight edge for PM AM. And I think 3 of my 4 outrights are in that wave. So I'm happy with how my card shook out.
It also makes sense too. I mean, I think a good angle. It's hard for me because I like to do so much pre-tournament, but you're really good at the live stuff. I mean, this is a great tournament to also maybe just hold on to some stuff, hold on to some units, and throw out some live bets after the wave advantages are over and we head into the weekend.
100%.
So yeah, some different schools of thought there. I threw out my outright card yesterday. I was not super eager to get it out early. That was not my plan. I didn't think. I don't know. I didn't think, to me, like having a slightly better number, I would rather not feel like I had a guy starting a shot and a half behind the field. But as I kept looking at the weather, like it wasn't changing a lot, and I felt good about it. So the outright card for me came out. Who is on your outright card? You said you have 4 guys. Tell me who they are.
I got 4 guys, and the one number is still available. The one's close, and then the other 2, I think we did a good job of getting them early. So I'll just rip through them pretty quickly. I had to take one at the top of the board. Also, just piece of advice for if any of you guys that play on FanDuel, almost every single weekend of any tournament, majors, non-majors, you'll get like live weekend boosts. Like we had one for, I think there was the John Deere, we had a boost. And I wasn't going to live bet anything for the John Deere, but they let you use those boosts for future outrights. So for the last couple of majors, I have just been stacking boosts from previous tournaments to get maybe some of the chalkier guys at better numbers. So that's what I did with Morikawa. I got Morikawa boosted to 25-1. He's the one guy at the top of the board that I felt like I wanted some action on. And it was just a matter of a couple of things. One, obviously great British Open experience. The dude has been one of the best golfers in the world for the last couple of months. And I think more so, I'm not really overly terrified by the top of the board here. And I guess by the top of the board, I mean Scotty. And I know that sounds like a crazy thing to say, but I don't know about you, but I'm kind of going into this with like a similar thought process that I had at Pinehurst. Now, I understand Pinehurst and Royal Troon are two drastically different courses. The agronomy couldn't be more different. But I think in terms of just the randomness element and the luck factor and the sort of just the drastic range of outcomes that we could possibly see here, and I think it also makes sense that when you look at the last time the U.S. Open was at Pinehurst, Keimer dusted everybody, and then everyone else was like a million strokes behind him. And then the last time we were at Troon, you had Stenson and Phil beating the shit out of everybody by like 15 strokes. So all I take away from that is the variance here is just going to be sort of off the charts. And I think because of that, I think, the higher the variance, the more of a problem that is for the best golfer like Scotty. So I think just anybody at the top of the board here, Morikawa was my favorite, and I thought we were getting a good number there.
Let me stop you there. I mean, total agreement. I did a show yesterday with my boy Gutsy at SoBet. He asked me, guys of the guys shorter than 20-1 that could not be on DB's Big Balls betting card, who do I like the most? And live on the show, I had two names, and it was Xander and Kawa, and I ended up talking myself into Kawa the more I talked through it. So, and he's at 16-1, which I like. You getting him boosted at 25 is fantastic. I agree with you there on Morikawa completely, and I agree with you on the variance. I mean, and we see that in Open Championship winners. Like that's why guys like Ben Curtis, Todd Hamilton, like it can definitely happen whether it's because of weather or it's because of a weird bounce or just shitty luck situation in Gorse or in a pot bunker or whatever. I mean, it could be a lot of things, a lot of different factors that could derail somebody like Scotty at 4.5-1. And he also loses strokes relative to his baseline when it comes to playing links golf. He has 22 rounds played on what we would consider links golf courses, and he loses strokes relative to his baseline about a third of a shot. So I mean, he's obviously not. I mean, and I would say if you look at his major championship history, although he's only played in 3 Opens and he's done fine in all 3 of them, relative to the other majors, it's still his worst major. So
the only other guy at the top that I would say sub 20 that I think you could probably talk me into would be Bryson, just because of the tear that he's been on this year. But
he scares me too.
He scares me a little bit. I just think there's holes in other people. Like even Ludwig. I think a couple of months ago, a lot of people were just penciling Ludwig in for their future Open bet. And I don't know
if you got him at 30-1 or 40-1, whatever. Like I get that.
Sure. But I don't love what I've seen. Like the driver's been a little sprayy recently, and like I don't know. Like I read his quote in your Discord, and that's just not what I want to hear. Like a couple of days before the Open Championship, that he's just like figuring out some tendency stuff. Like I need him piping driver if I think he's going to compete here. So Morikawa would be my favorite guy at the top of the board.
All right, who you got next?
Next, I got this at a great number at 100-1. I grabbed Thigala like 3 months ago. I think you can still get him if you shop around. You can probably get him at like 75, 80. I think I could still get behind that. Love what I saw from him with the Scottish last week. And look, I just like the guy is going to win majors. Like the guy is going to win a lot of tournaments here. And this just feels kind of like the right one. I don't know. I don't have. Like, I wish I had something more compelling other than just like I feel it in my soul, but just all around, I love his game. The short game has been really good, and I just think it starts gusting, the weather's bad, and everyone's out there soaked. I just think he's a grinder. I think it's his time. I would have him I don't know, 50. Like everyone that's sort of around his price range here, I would take him before all of them. So I loved it at 100. And I think even if you're late and you want to grab some action at 75, I think I could still endorse that.
All right. Who else you got?
The right around him at 70. I actually grabbed this one this morning. This is my last outright. I had to pull the trigger on Scam Young. I had to do it.
Yeah.
Coming off his 2 best performances of the year, 2 straight top 10s. He's got great open experience. Really was so dangerously close to winning in 22. And if Cam Smith doesn't win that and Cam Young ends up winning that, I mean, it goes down as one of the best open or just best major final rounds like in the history of golf. Coming into 18, you had to make an eagle, drives the green and makes like a 30-foot eagle to give himself a chance. And I think people just forget about that because everyone remembers that Rory couldn't make a putt and, Cam Smith made that great up and down on the road hole. And you forget that Cam Young, I think, shot a 63 to give himself a chance here. So great open player, peaking at the right time. And just another guy that, like, after that first win, I do think the floodgates are going to open. And I like where his game is at. 70-1, I think it's Cam Young time.
All right. Hit me with the last one. And I'm going to talk about my card.
Last one at 150, I just had to bet Akshay. Just had to do it. That was more of a number thing than anything else. You're sitting here rolling your eyes. Dude, the recent body of work speaks for itself. My concern with him is if it really starts to gust, he likes to hit that super high ball fade. And I can just see that, that high spinny 3-wood just catching the wind and going into no man's land. But the dude is just so freaking good, man. I mean, the talent is there. And I just think to get a guy as just purely talented as him that has winning upside at 150, regardless of what I feel about the course fit, that was just a number play. I had to do it.
I think there's a better name in that same range who has experience. I mean, he has no Open Championship experience. He has very little links experience. Which we see that matter at the Open Championship. I think your average winner is in their 30s for the majority of the last 20 years. And they've had Open Championship experience, links experience, all that stuff, which he does not have. So there's a name that I think in his range, or at least he was earlier in the week. I'm not sure where he's fallen to. Who's a multiple PGA Tour winner, Ryder Cupper, finished runner-up at the Open last year, and it would be Sepp Straka. So where you find Akshay, you can normally find Sepp Straka. I just prefer to use the unit there. Completely agree with you on Cam Young. I'm going to bring up my big balls betting card here on the screen. With you on Cam Young, grabbed him as well. I mean, to me, it's like, have I been betting Cam Young at 22-1 or 30-1 in some of these tournaments? No, I haven't, because he hasn't. We're all like, we are waiting on him to close the door on one, right? It's like Fleetwood, but at 65, considering his Open Championship record, not just the one in 2022, because St. Andrews played different, wide ass open golf course, super short. He just dominated that place. Winning score was 20 under. I don't think we're going to get to that this year at Royal Troon, but last year to finish 8th in kind of crappy conditions on a similar course, I believe at Hoylake. I think that's showing something and coming in good form. I think Cam Young at 65 is definitely worth the investment.
What do they have the over-under for the winning scores set at? I think I saw like 270, 271, which is like what, 13 under, 14 under?
I actually haven't seen that. Let me see if I can find that real quick. 72 winning score. This was as of Monday, was at 271.5.
So that's minus 14.
So 14 under, yeah.
So that confuses me just a little bit, because so they think if they had the winning score at 14 under, not to jump around here, I apologize, but like the round 1 round scores, they've got everybody at par or plus 1. Like,
yeah,
that doesn't add up to me.
Yeah,
that doesn't add up to me. Like, if you think they're going to get the 14 under, then I don't know, like.
That was as of. I mean, they set that line as of Monday. I don't know what it is now. That's the one I see on Twitter that I see all the time. The guy from Circa or whatever posts. So they had on that same line, leading score after the first round, they had 65.5. over minus 210, under plus 180. Yeah, I don't know.
Like I'm talking out of my ass here, but this, I don't know. This feels like somebody goes out in 7 under and tries to hang on, right? I mean, I feel like you're going to see a lot of big numbers, but I do think you're going to see a lot of guys at least start half decent, especially if the weather on Thursday isn't that diabolical. I don't know. I really wasn't. This wasn't a tournament that like I'm coming into it salivating over looking at round 1 scores, but
yeah,
God, I'm looking at them now, man, and there's like 10 of them that I think I want to bet.
I mean, the opening 9 to 10 holes I think are definitely gettable for these guys. It's just can you hang on for the last 8 or 9 that are going to be predominantly into the wind and the longer holes on the course.
Yeah.
So I mean, especially from a live betting standpoint, just know that. And they don't do split tees at the Open. So there's not guys going off in number 10. Everybody's going off in number 1. They're going to come out and have a decent start, or at least you hope they do. But by the time you make the turn to 10, 11, 12, you got to kind of hold on and par is your friend. Stay out of the gorse. Don't get in those pot bunkers, and you're going to have a lot of long irons. Even though, a lot of the field is going to have a lot of mid to long iron approach shots into those small greens. So buckle up, Buttercup. All right, let's get to some props. That's enough about the outrights. Let's talk about some props. We've got some nationality props. I'm curious. Let's talk about those to start, or any other like make the cut, miss the cut, nationality, top am, whatever you got. Hit me with. We'll just ping pong this. Start off.
All right, nationality props. I like finding the markets where there's like 3 guys in it, like top Italian and top French, for instance. So I played both of those. So I don't know if I'm probably going to play all these solo, but I got them in a parlay as well. But I'll start with top French. There's only 3 Frenchmen. It's Victor Perez, Mathieu Pavon, and Romain Langlois or whatever.
Mm-hmm. Whatever.
Pavone at plus 185. Pavone. Is it Pavone or Pavon? Let me just.
I think it's Pavon. You always say Pavone.
I always say Pavone.
I think you should stick with that. I think you keep saying Pavone.
All right, Pavone.
It's
Pavone
like your what is it you call
Viagamos? Camilio Viagamos?
Yes. Yeah, it's like him. See, that was kind of a stay away category for me. Because I love me some Victor Perez.
I know you love some Victor Perez. Langlois played
and
well
I love
with the French.
Pavon. Langlois, yeah, great at the Scottish.
Excuse me.
That's a tough one for me. That's a stay away for me. I think that's some of your Pavone erection coming through on that.
I'm just looking at the guy that continues
to. I like him.
He keeps showing up in majors, other than the PGA, which I think at the time was like his 9th week in a row, and it was when his game started to fall off a cliff. He's 10th at the Masters, 12th at the Masters, and he was fully in the mix at the U.S. Open. The guy has just stepped up in big boy tournaments. Plus, one last tune-up before the Paris Olympics in his home country. I really like Pavone, plus 185, top French. Top Italian, same deal. There's 3 guys. It is Matteo Manassero, Guido Migliozzi, and Francesco Molinari. Manassero, plus 145. I was between him and Guido. Guido was awful last week. Manassero played well. He's kind of on a bit of a run right now. And I just look, if Francesco Molinari turns back the clock and comes out and plays well, so be it. I'll lose.
Which he kind of does at the Open.
I know, but
and the old guys can do that here.
I know, but Manassero plus 145 just to beat those 2, I thought was pretty good. And then I wrapped it up. I feel like I probably missed a better number here because I think he's gotten steamed in seemingly every single market that he's in. But top South African Louis plus 160.
God, we don't have any of the same. I have 3 categories, and wow, that's interesting. All right, so I think Louis has some promise. I do think some of the South African contingent, like Dean.
Everybody loves Dean. Like
I don't like Dean. Okay, hold on. First of all, don't bash my boy Dean. Me and Dean had a great conversation at Live Nashville. The guy's super awesome, and he won me 40 units in Miami. Okay, love me some Dean. Also nailed him at the PGA, top 20, top 40, all that. This is not a course that I think suits Dean very well. So I will say that right now before you start slandering Dean lovers.
I'm not slandering.
I am a Dean lover, but I do not think this is the best spot for him. I will agree with you there. Seabass scares me a little bit because it kind of could be, but Louis is definitely playing well. Does great in open, at open venues.
You know who I'm afraid of in this market?
I don't hate this one.
If Louis loses this, it's because of Ernie Els.
Who just won the senior players or whatever it is.
Ernie Els has been absolutely cooking, man. And I'm a little pissed. I got to give a hat tip to Mayo because I think he touted Els top senior, and that was at like 12-1 or something ridiculous, and then that got nuked. So Ernie playing some good golf. I think if Louis loses this bet, it's because of Ernie. But I think Louis is just.
I don't think so, but okay.
I think Louis is the clear guy here. I mean, his open experience is just off the charts, and I feel like of all of the live contingent, he's quietly like had the best year that no one's talking about. I mean, he's just steady Eddie competing.
Yeah, he is. Yeah, I mean, I bet him to win a couple of weeks. I mean, he can't seem to close the door, but okay. I gotta say, I'm surprised, and I think I know why. You have this another erection for one Canadian, Nick Taylor, which may be why you avoided the top Canada market. But I think Corey Conners at plus 120 out of the 4 Canadians is as close to a lock as anything. Like I don't. Mackenzie Hughes is going to get destroyed here with the way he hits his irons. There's no way unless he just chips in from everywhere, makes every putts from off the like. Mackenzie Hughes is out of the picture. Hadwin has not seemingly played like Adam Hadwin all year to me. I don't think he's got the stones. Nick Taylor at 4-1. I mean, I understand that he's had a good, obviously a good year on the PGA Tour. He's played in 2, 4, 6, 8, 10 majors by my count. He's made 2 cuts, and his best finish was the 2020 Masters in the fall at a T29. He's played in 1 Open Championship, missed the cut. That was last year. I just don't. I don't see Nick Taylor, finishes T57 at the Genesis Scottish, whatever. I don't see Nick Taylor competing. Meanwhile, Corey Conners finishes T10 at the Genesis Scottish, finished T19 at the Scottish last year, has a decent open record, made 3 or 4 cuts, T15 in 2021. Like, hits it out of the center, which you need to do in windy conditions. Putter has flashed on occasion here lately. Around the green play has been better. Corey Conners is one of my favorite plays in a lot of markets, especially this one. Plus 120.
Look, I completely get it. And I do think that you are right in that I'm probably a little blinded by my just forever love for Nick Taylor here. But I do think there is a slight sales pitch for Taylor here. One, like the major experience, like when you talk about someone's major experience, I think what you're saying without saying it is like, can they do it on the biggest stage in the biggest moments? And like what he did at the Canadian Open, I mean, for him, that's a major. Like the Canadians look at the Canadian Open like it's a major. So like, I don't think this is a guy that shies away from the moment. And there was that stat earlier in the year, like, if he's in the mix if he's within like 2 strokes or whatever going into the final round, I think we were trying to, handicap it as like a clutch factor, if you will. And he's got it. The guy's got stones. His game fell off a cliff for like the bulk of the season after his win at the Waste Management. But I am a little happy with what I've seen from him lately, especially with his irons. He's gained about 3 strokes on approach in his last 2 tournaments, and that just hasn't happened, I think, since like beginning of March.
Yeah.
And he's been abysmal with the putter. And this is a guy that just like when he has it, he can be one of the best putters on tour. His putter has been atrocious as of late. I think that the game is rounding back into form, and he hits those low ball stingers. The accuracy has improved. He's the furthest thing from a high ball hitter. So I think he's going to find ways to be able to, if the wind's gusting, to cut it through this wind. I agree with you. I think this is Corey Conners all day, but bias aside, I do think Nick Taylor can, hang around here. He's not going on the outright card. He is not winning this thing, but I do think the game, we're getting breadcrumbs of the whole game coming together. And again, guy's got some stones. He's won big tournaments. I would not sleep on Nick Taylor this week, but him and Conners are the only Canadians I'm giving a shot. Mackenzie Hughes is no shot. Adam Hadwin is no shot.
All right, for my next one, try to hit these quickly. I mean, I think you and I nuked this at the U.S. Open. Hideki, top Japanese player. I realize that his open record is not fantastic. He did finish T13 last year. He's got a couple top 20s. It's probably one of his weaker majors, but even money for Hideki to beat a list of, Ryo Hisatunse, Kita Nakajima, who I know is having a good year on the DP World Tour, Hoshino, Katsuragawa, like it's just he's just still the class of the field. So I think Hideki at even money is worth a look.
I just think for me, it's too many names to dodge in a super high variance tournament. That's what it's
a lot of names to dodge. Connors is my favorite out of this bunch, but it is a lot. I got another one with a lot of names.
Give it to me.
I think Adam Scott at Top Australian at plus 260 is in play. I don't trust Cam Smith's driver here. He worries me hitting it in the gorse, pot bunkers, whatever. This is not St. Andrews. Again, we talked about it with Cam Young. This is not wide open St. Andrews. So I don't trust Cam Smith at all. Minwoo Lee, I'm so sick of Minwoo Lee. Give me a freaking break. Like the guy, I can't figure him out, number one. Maybe that's why I'm sick of him, but he's just, I want him to be good like everybody else, but he's not. He's just not. Adam Scott nearly won the Genesis Scottish. He's having this resurgent play of late. Obviously tons of Open Championship experience. And then Jason Day is the next one in play, who historically has not played well at the Open, did finish runner-up last year. Historically, his high ball flight, his poor iron play doesn't do him any good in the windy conditions, at the Open. So I don't love Jason Day. And then the other two are these amateurs or whatever, Elvis and Jasper. But Adam Scott's just playing too good right now. I mean, the guy probably should have won the Scottish Open had Bobby Mack not had that egregious drop that he got. Yeah, he's plus 260 to beat the. So I mean, you are dodging some bullets. I get it with the variance, but plus 260 seems like an attractive number. Those are my.
I got no pushback on that.
Well, do you have a top amateur thought? I have a top amateur thought.
Ooh, let me pull these up really quick.
This well, let me find where is he? This guy Dominic Clemens, 7-1, top am, finished tied for first at that qualifier with Justin Rose to make it in here. He won an amateur title by 17 strokes at Muirfield this year. 17 strokes. Now he's
I've never heard of this guy.
I know he plays at like a no-name college in the U.S. He's not high up in the world AM rankings like a Gordon Sargent or whatever, but he's got a lot of links record. Dude, if you win something if you play people who are scratch golfers or better and you beat them by 17 shots at Muirfield, and then you tie Justin Rose for medalist at the Open qualifier, like kid's got some game apparently on some. On some links records. So 7-1 for top am, I thought was interesting.
The only guy that I would want to just do research on is Calum Scott because I know nothing. I know nothing about him. But just while knowing nothing, I'm assuming we're probably getting too generous of a price here just because of the weight that Sargent is carrying, and yeah. I think Sargent is just egregiously overrated here. So if you have an angle of anybody below him, it's probably a good number because I just think Sargent is getting way too much respect. So I want to look into Calum Scott, but I will probably be betting Dominic Clemens with you just because I think the Sargent number is ridiculous.
Scott's the other one that I had penciled down. I don't have my notes in front of me on exactly why Calum Scott. I mean, he is Scottish, so that does help. Scottish links experience, obviously, and I think he's probably a higher ranked amateur than Dominic Clemens. But anyway, so one of those two I like. Can we talk Tiger for a second?
Yes.
To make the cut is kind of where I would go here, and I think
what are they giving you?
It's top 70 in ties. It's not top 65 in ties or top 60 or whatever. I think the number is actually shortened now, and on FanDuel it's plus 174.
Did he miss the cut on the number? What was the cut at the U.S. Open? 5 or 6?
Wasn't it 5? Yeah, he didn't miss the cut on the number. He
missed it by 2. He shot 7 over.
Actually, yeah, I think he missed it by 2. Was it 5 or was it 6? He was close.
It was 5 because I know that Scotty was 5 over, and I know that Scotty made it on the number, and I know a lot of people were sweating him for whatever pools they were in and stuff. So it was 5. So he missed it by 2. Again, man, like I'm looking for any excuse possible to be able to have some kind of Tiger Woods action. I mean, I would take a bullet for the guy. He's my favorite athlete ever. And I think before the US Open, I talked about how, like, I thought that if there was a course like Pinehurst this summer that I think he can at least hang around in. Again, he ended up missing the cut, but I think this sort of fits the same mold. A lot of randomness, a lot of variance, and a lot of reliance on creativity and just overall experience. And
Yeah.
I mean, Tiger Woods is always gonna check those boxes. So plus 174, I think you could do a lot worse.
He sounded good too. Looked good in the presser. I mean, I definitely like that. All right, now I got one to miss the cut, and I think I ran this up for the damn U.S. Open. I think it backfired on me, but I'm gonna run it. I'm gonna run it back here.
Can I guess?
Yeah.
Vic.
Nope.
Clark.
Yep.
Not worried about. He had a really good Sunday. He was half decent at the Scottish.
He did it all putting. 6.74 strokes gained putting that week. Round 4 alone, he gained 4.5 of those strokes. He still is not hitting it great. And I don't like the high spinny cut that he likes to hit. I think that's not going to serve him well here in windy Scotland with trouble right, especially on that back nine. That's going to be a problem for him. It'll help him on the front nine. He'll be able to carry a lot of pop bunkers. He's got that distance. He's played in 2 Open championships. He's made both cuts, a T76 in one. That was at St. Andrews, and a T33 last year. So I mean, I know he's played better here last couple of events, and I know the Genesis Scottish, whatever, and he has played well at the Genesis Scottish a couple of times now. But if I were going to pick one big name to miss the cut at plus 166, he's the guy I would pick. I prefer the Tiger bet, honestly.
What about Rory to miss the cut at 470?
No way.
You don't.
I'm not doing that. I just don't. I mean, I get the variance. If there was if we really thought like the Firth of Clyde was gonna kick up some serious wind and rain at some point, maybe. But I don't think Rory misses the cut here.
Like Rory at 470, even Ludwig at 340. I don't know, man. I think
Lud at 340 is a little more interesting. If he can't get that, he's got that left miss is what he was talking about, right? With the driver and like some feeling that he can't quite nail down. And he's got this left miss, which I am rather familiar with myself. Maybe I could go there plus first time open, championship. I don't know. Lud's just the stud though, man. I'd rather take the lower
Lud and
lower risk at Wyndham Clark.
And then this would be just the high variance plus hangover Bobby Mack. I know it's the hometown boy in Scotland, but he just won the Scottish Open. You know that he was guzzling beers.
What's that number?
All evening. He is plus 182 to miss the cut.
I'd rather take Wyndham Clark. I trust Bobby in the links stuff, dude. He's got it. And there's something about too, like, I mean, some guys like Brian Harman use the crowd against them for the better, which he did. Some guys don't do well with that. And then there's guys who I think just they thrive when the crowd's for them. And obviously Bobby Mack is going to have that hangover be damned. Like he'll be ready to go. I think I'm in on Bobby Mack. Can I throw some 3 balls at you?
Yeah, can I do this? I have one other just random special. It's like one of the prepackaged specials on FanDuel. On the sites that also include ties that let you parlay, I would maybe price check this year. But again, I know I just joked about him missing the cut, but Rory and Xander, top 20, including ties, plus 110. Just if you want like one, I don't want to use the word safety net because I don't use the word lock in these streets here. But
yeah,
if you want just something around even money, that feels pretty damn good. Rory Xander, top 20, including ties. And then the only other things that I have marked down here before 3 balls, just let me know if you want to do 3 balls first. I have a list of names that are just super duper bombs that are not going to win this tournament, but it's just for top 40.
Let's do that.
Top 20 juice. What do you want to do first?
Do that after 3 balls. I want to run a few 3 balls by you because you said before the show you couldn't find a lot that you like. So let's run through them quickly.
Yeah, let me give them another look.
All right. The first one that comes to me, and I've already talked about this guy a lot. I told you I'm very bullish on Corey Connors. He's in a group with Ryan Fox and Jorge Campillo. Jorge Campillo is garbage. He's just hot trash garbage. Ryan Fox is good. He's got some links experience. Like I don't like the guy's good. Um, I just that's how much I love Corey Connors. He's plus 110. Fox is plus 180 in that group.
Fox is erratic too, whereas Connors is just steady, hit the center of the fairway, and like give yourself looks. Whereas Fox, I mean, again, we saw at the Masters. I mean, he can rattle off 5 birdies in a row, and the second that seesaw starts to tip and go in the other direction, he has a pretty big problem stopping that runaway train. So
he's got some made cuts, and he makes a lot of cuts in the Open, but he doesn't really have a lot of high finishes. He's got a T16 as his best finish. The iron play can be quite erratic with Ryan Fox, and with Corey, you're getting him. He's going to hit it out of center every time. All right, the next one, and I've already talked about this guy too, and this one concerns me a little. Maybe I don't know. I think I like this one just as much. I like Adam Scott over Nikolai Højgaard and Keita Nakajima at plus 120. I've already talked about Scott. I mean, Højgaard's a good play, but very limited Open experience. Probably got plenty of links experience, but
I don't know that I want to fade Højgaard.
Scott is just so dialed right now.
I know, but I feel like Højgaard last week. I was on Højgaard in the Scottish last week, and it felt like he hit it great, and he just could not make a putt. I mean, I counted. I think during the second round where I really needed him to make a move, I think he missed like 7 or 8 birdies within 12 feet or something like that. I mean, he was giving himself looks all day.
What's funny is, based on Bet the Number, his best round putting last week was round 2. You might be thinking about it differently.
Round. What was his
round 4? He lost 5 strokes putting. Round 4.
What was he round 1? Because round 1 he made a couple.
He was basically neutral. He was neutral.
Yeah, he missed a lot of short ones. I think what happened was he missed a lot of short ones, but I think he made one. He made a bomb that I think is going to skew it a lot. But he missed a lot of short ones, but he was overall hitting the ball well. One random sidebar on Højgaard, out of nowhere, like Rasmus is the better Højgaard in every single market, like top Nordic, top Danish. I think even in the outright market, Rasmus is now clearing Nikolai. Like, when did that happen?
Well, I mean, dude, Rasmus has been. I mean, do you remember Rasmus missed his PGA Tour card the same year Nikolai got it by literally like the final putt? I mean,
yeah. Do you know who made it?
No.
Pavon.
Was it Pavon?
Pavon was the last guy to get it. Pavon got his card, and Rasmus missed out. That was the guy that beat him.
I mean, Rasmus has been as good for a long time as Nikolai, and Nikolai's kind of gotten the projected. I mean, he's probably a better player now because he's been out on the PGA Tour and he's Ryder Cupper and all that stuff now. But Rasmus is a stud too. I don't think you can get that twisted. All right, let me throw this one at you. It's got juice, but God, it just if you're building a 3-ball parlay, Neiman, Jaeger, and Schenk. Schenk is broken at the moment, which I hate for our boy Swedberg. Jaeger doesn't seem to be playing quite as well. Neiman is minus 105. That just feels like a lock.
But Neiman has been so disappointing this year, man. Again, after he started like a god on Live, I know won you all those units on Live to the start of the year.
He's won me 80 units on Live this year.
And then I just keep betting him in majors, and he just keeps disappointing me. I do want to talk. I want to talk to Swed about Schenk because like it's been bad. It's been really, really bad.
Yeah.
At least the last time.
Neiman's still playing amazing on Live, by the way. Like I know majors disappointing, but he's still. These are his Live finishes this year: win, 30th, win, 4th, 9th, 3rd, 7th, 32nd, 3rd, and 6th.
The only thing that I will say about Schenk, and again, this is not a massive endorsement, if you will, but after the CJ Cup, from the Wells Fargo through the Rocket Mortgage, he missed every cut but one and lost at least a stroke. And in some of these cases, he lost like 8 strokes tee to green. I mean, the swing was just utterly lost. At the John Deere, he finally to the field gained, I think, 4 strokes tee to green in the 2 rounds he played, and he just lost 1 billion strokes putting. So yeah, again, it's one round after 2 rounds after a slew of just overall embarrassing finishes here. But again, I know it's been an issue with the swing, but gain strokes tee to green, gain strokes with the irons, and then just literally putted himself out of the cut at the John Deere. So the only thought there is, did he find something? Did something click at the John Deere, and now we just got to come out and make some putts? I don't know. I'm not sleeping on Shank to the point where he is one of the names in the bomb list that it's just like I think he could sneak a top 40 here.
Oh dear. The next one, I got two more, and then we can move on. The next one, I know that Dustin Johnson has not looked like himself, but he's plus 125 to beat Juiced, Luton, and Phil. Like Juiced, Luton, and Phil. Juiced has not a good open record. He missed the cut at the Genesis Scottish, whatever. He's Juiced Luton. I just think DJ at plus 125 is too juicy.
The only pushback would be, is this just one of those courses that Phil has the magic beans? I mean, Phil is awful in 90% of the tournaments he plays, but like look at his lead up to the Masters in 22. I mean, there wasn't the slightest suggestion of breadcrumbs to be found anywhere, and then he came out and finished second because Phil just, no matter what, will play well at Augusta. I mean, the last time he stepped foot on Troon, if they play that tournament 200 times, Phil wins 199 of them, and he just ran into the buzzsaw that was Henrik. It's just the Phil course. He comes out, remembers the good vibes from 2016, and just has it.
It's too long ago, man. Too long ago. Too much has happened. Too much cocaine. Too much live. Like whatever it is. Too long ago. Since his runner-up here in 2016, look at his open record. It's horrible. Since his runner-up, miscut T24, okay, in 2018. Then miscut. He's missed 5 out of 6 cuts since this Open Championship at the Open. He's terrible.
Horses for courses, man. My man loves Royal Troon.
I think DJ's a lock in that group. All right, last one real quick, and it's ugly, but Romain Langasque, the Frenchman, who did just play really well, is plus 140 to beat CT Pan and Yuto Katsuragawa. I mean, CT Pan's flashed a little bit in the last couple of weeks. I feel like I've seen that happen. I could just be making that up. He's never made the cut in an Open. So there's that. I just, any CT Pan, like the guy's garbage. I don't.
I got one I like here. It's juicy too.
Okay.
I don't love fading Davis Thompson. Dude's been playing some great golf, but lack of open experience. Matthew Jordan plus 190. Dude, Matthew Jordan is a dog. Just played well at the Scottish. Played well at the Open last year. Just a solid golfer. And I think on the report in your Discord about I think of the last like 50 rounds on Links Golf. I mean, he pops there in good form. Again, I know the old guys play well here, so it's not like I want to completely cross off Patty, but. Yeah. As well as Davis Thompson's been playing, I don't think that you should be getting 2-1 on Matthew Jordan here. So I think Matthew Jordan at 190 is one that I like very much.
I can agree. Finished, played at the Genesis Scottish T26 there. So I think top 10 at the Open last year.
Yep.
I think that's an interesting one too. All right, that's 3 balls. Let's move on. All right, let's talk about our names, and these are kind of bombs that we think have some placement upside, whether it's top 40, top 20. You could ladder them, you could parlay them, you could do them, individual bets, whatever you think. But just some guys deep down the board that we think have some room to pop. Why don't you hit me?
First one was Matthew Jordan. He's 400 to 1. So I'm probably not going to click him outright, but
2-1 top 40 is what I had it written down,
including ties.
Including ties on MGM, 2-1 top 40.
Yeah, I think that's absolutely going to get some of my money.
Okay, I'll throw out another one. I love the Frenchman Victor Perez. He's plus 170, coming off another good week at the Genesis Scottish. Bombs it. Short game is good, and I believe has. Let me check here. T10 at the Genesis Scottish, by the way. Made 2 of 3 cuts in his Open championships. So, been playing some good golf. 3rd at RBC Canadian, 12th at Memorial. Those are decent finishes. Like, I think Victor Perez could do it. Plus 1 top 40.
Do you have MGM up in front of you right now?
Yes.
Just humor me. What is the price on Shank top 40?
Oh, God. How far do I have to scroll here?
Very far. He's 1,000 to 1 outright.
Jeez. Let's see. He is 4 to 1. He's priced with Sean Crocker, and he's between Angel Hidalgo and Zach Johnson. I just can't do it, man. You're letting your
I'm not.
You're letting your heart for Swedberg. I don't know.
Yeah, is that part of this? Is that part of this? I'm absolutely sure that it is. But
okay, I will let you know what. Let's each have a heart pick because I have a heart pick too. Near the same number.
Heart pick for the same market, probably close to the same number, would be Nick Taylor. I think Nick Taylor will make the cut. And if the putter is half as good as it was back in February, he will top 40. What's Nick Taylor top 40?
Nick Taylor on MGM top 40 is plus 260.
Which I was getting a little more juice there, but I do. I think I'm seeing enough breadcrumbs with the irons from Nick Taylor, and I think we have to see a bounce back with the putter at some point. I think Nick Taylor's in play.
My heart play to finish top 40 at plus 320 on MGM, including ties, is my boy John Catlin, who I played in the Live Nashville Pro-Am with. Watched him hit every fairway in regulation that day, shot 7 under on his own ball, ended up having a great week, played in the final group with Terrell Hatton. The guy is a flusher, finished runner-up at his last tournament on the Asian Tour. He's won twice in the last month and a half on the Asian Tour. He's got links experience, plus 320. John Catlin is my heart pick, top 40.
I don't know enough about the dude, but if you played with him in the Pro-Am, trust me, I know what it feels like to watch a guy hit a ball and think they're the best golfer in the world. I was when me and my dad and my brother came to the Masters, the first group we got to watch was the Canadians. It was like Mike Weir, Mackenzie Hughes, and Svensson. And I watched Svensson hit an iron into the 7th green, and I was just like, oh, this guy's going to win the Masters. And then I watched everyone else hit, and they all looked as good. But,
okay, well, I mean, again, I will say this guy's won. This guy has won, and I know it's the Asian Tour, but like, all right, let me give you his best performances of his career. The guy has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. He's got 6 wins on the Asian Tour and 3 on the DP World Tour, including the Irish Open in 2020 on a links golf course. So the guy's an 8-time world winner, and I realize on lackluster tours, he's been given a shot now for 3 tournaments in a row on Live because of Charles Howell's injury. T24 in Houston, T7 that week in Nashville with us, and again was in the final group right there with Terrell Hatton. Kind of had a rough final day.
What number do you have for Catlin at top 40?
Plus 320 on MGM.
420 on FanDuel, including ties.
Including ties?
Yeah, FanDuel, they usually don't offer 40.
That's right, the majors, they do.
They have
holy moly. That is
Catlin plus 420, including ties. Dude, I think let's do a little round robin here. I think I'm with you on Catlin plus 420.
All right, sold you on Catlin. All right, who's another name?
100%. Let me see what Matthew Jordan is.
Well, on FanDuel, yeah. Let's check that number because I agree with you on Matt Jordan and check Victor Perez. While you're looking at that, I think I want to have a little exposure to the new Rory McIlroy.
I don't.
You don't?
Define exposure? What do you want here?
A top 40. Do you know who I'm talking about?
Oh, McKibben?
Yeah. The Northern Irish, phenom coming out of. I mean, he's been killing.
I know, but he fucked me. I know, but he fucked me last weekend, so I got a bad taste in my mouth. But I could certainly go. I could go back. I was all over him for the Scottish. I thought the Scottish was going to be like the pre-open coming out party for like all the Americans to learn this kid's name, and then he missed the cut.
But you got to 41st at the U.S. Open, which I think was his first major. That was his first major. 35th at last year's Genesis Scottish.
Damn, he's plus 135 on FanDuel.
Top 40?
Top 40, including ties.
He's plus 150 on MGM.
I think I've asked you this. Are you able to parlay them on MGM or no? I don't believe you can.
You can't. Seriously, I think FanDuel's the only one you can. I mean, we're definitely getting shorter because I had Catlin, Jordan, Perez, McKibben. I had Pavon as a top 4. Those are all plus money top 40 bombs on, top 40 plays on MGM, paying out full in ties.
I mean, hear me out, dude. Catlin, McKibben, Matthew Jordan. all three to finish top 40, including ties, is plus 3688.
Well, it didn't matter what you said. I was in. You had me at hello on that one. That
Yeah,
sounds like
I think they're good. And Catlin at 420. So you feel good about this? You said he won the Irish Open?
He won the Irish Open in 2020.
In.
Okay, you know what? And let's do this.
How did he get into this field?
Let's pull this up. Let's pull this up.
Did he qualify in?
He won at Galgrim Castle Golf Club. Okay. I don't know how he got in. The winning score was 10 under. He won by 2. Here he beat Aaron Rye, who was runner-up. Let me just find some other names in here. Lucas Herbert, Jordan Smith, Adrian Moronk, Juice Luton were in the top 10. Dick Bland was up there.
Hell yes.
Dean Burmester. Matthew Southgate, Lynx phenom, Matthew Southgate. I mean, like the guy legit has game. I mean, he does. He's not. And I talked to him about it when we played. Like, he's an average ball speed guy. Hits at 171, 172 ball speed. So he's going to be average, average PGA Tour average in terms of ball speed. Does not miss fairways. And then he's kind of a flusher, man. He leans on his irons. He compresses the hell out of it, which is going to be good here. And dude can roll it too. So I don't know. He's hot right now. The guy's hot. He's hot and confident. But I told you it is a heart pick. It's a heart pick. He's plus 420 for a reason.
If you throw Shank into this, he gets the 200 to 1.
Oh God.
And I'm gonna text Brett right after this because
that's disgusting. 200 to 1. But that would be the sickest 200 to 1. All right. Anything else? Anybody else? I want to keep this at an hour or less if we can.
Yeah. Let's see if I get just a name I want to just throw at you here.
What about?
Can I give you one? I'm curious if just with all your connections and all your friends, I'm not selling you here. This is more of like, have you heard anything that could possibly be good news? If you told me 2 years ago you were going to get Will Zalatoris 220 to 1, I would have bet it that day.
Is he at 220 to 1 right now?
He's 220 to 1 right now. Have you heard again? Has he teed it up since he withdrew?
That's a bad sign because
he withdrew with the Rocket Mortgage, and then he was abysmal at the Scottish. So I can't imagine there's optimism here.
Yeah, and let's see if there's some. Let me check something here. 72 hole matchup. So I think I don't know anything, but here if I'm reading the tea leaves, let me tell you a couple of sharp books, head-to-head books, and some line movement. He opened as a minus 120 favorite on a sharp head-to-head book for a 72-hole matchup. Minus 120 favorite over Ricky Fowler. He is now a plus 105 dog to Ricky Fowler.
To Ricky, Jesus.
Same book. Opened minus 108, slight dog to minus 112, Billy Horschel. That line has moved drastically. He is now a plus 107 dog to Billy Horschel, which tells me that the head-to-head bettors, the big bettors, do not. They either know something or they just flat out don't believe in Will Zalatoris at all. And I would agree. I don't know that Will Zalatoris is fully right. I don't think he is.
He's definitely not fully right.
No. And I don't think he opened at 220 to 1. So that means his outright odds have gone the wrong direction too.
Yeah. Glover.
Horrible links record, which is weird.
Which is weird. You would think that his game should translate to links, you would think.
Yeah, it says he loses. He's right there with Scotty. He loses about a third of a shot versus his baseline in his 22 recorded links rounds.
He hasn't played the Open since 21. He's got a T20 in 19, missed the cut in 21, and hasn't played the last 2 years.
Did he play the Genesis Scottish?
He did. He missed the cut. He played well leading. Oh, I say well. He was decent leading into that. Was flushing the irons, and then he was awful tee to green at the Scottish.
And he also didn't make he played the Genesis Scottish one other time in 2022 and missed the cut by a lot.
Yeah, but in 2022 he was horrific.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. I don't know.
Uh,
Let me do this. There are a couple names that I couldn't have on the outright card, but I do think have genuine upside, and I want some exposure to, and I would throw a top 10 down on. I do think Tommy Ladd has him a good week. He's a great links player. Tough to bet him at. I made this point earlier. Like when I see Tommy and John Rahm at the same outright number, like to win a major, there's no way I can not. I mean, there's no way I can put that unit on Tommy instead of John. Like, but I do think Tommy has a good week, and I want some exposure. So he's 2-1 top 10. Connors is another one. Connors and Harmon. I think Harmon has a good week. Connors and Harmon to top 10. Connors is plus 450. Harmon is 5-1, and that is all including ties on MGM. So those are just a couple names that didn't make my outright card because I don't want to use all my units or whatever. But I think both of those guys have good weeks.
Dude, I mean, Harmon's been hitting the ball really well, and he's coming in with a lot of confidence too. I mean, I read the quote in your Discord. He's feeling good, and it's just the putter has failed him as of late. And again, you have to expect that to at some point bounce in the right direction. He is in the early wave. I know, we don't think it's a massive difference, but the difference nonetheless, just worth mentioning. And if you want to wrap up with this, do we want to just dig in very, very briefly on two guys we just haven't talked about at all, and that's Rahm and Koepka.
Both are on my outright card, my friend. Right, Shinda. John Rahm at 25-1 is what I got him on MGM. Koepka at 40, I just could not avoid either one of those numbers. I mean, Koepka at 40-1 is insane to me. I think if you tell me that both of those guys go all year, all major season without being in contention in one, I just don't believe it. So I think this is one of them. We know Brooks loves the Open. DP World Tour, loads of experience before he made his name on the PGA Tour. Rahm loves the Open. I liked Rahm's presser the other day too. He sounds really confident. Sounds like he made a driver shaft change that's going to free him up off the tee that he's been struggling with. The toe issue was clearly a thing at the U.S. Open. I just think Rahm.
Did he play the LIV event last week?
Yeah, he finished T10 exactly.
Okay.
So I mean, since he's left for LIV, his worst finish is a T10, Singapore, and last week in Spain. T3 in Nashville the week after the U.S. Open that he withdrew from the foot injury. Brooks not having the best season on LIV. Finished T27 last week, but I think Brooks he's a major hunter. 40-1 is insane.
What wave are they both in?
Nate in the chat says Brooks is 70-1 at Bet365.
Are you serious?
That's ridiculous. That is ridiculous.
That's going on my card. I'm going to be betting that. It's at 70-1. That's just fucking crazy.
70, is that real? Are you looking at that? Let me check his matchups like I did with Zalatoris. Maybe people know something we don't. He's a -126 favorite over Justin Thomas. He's a slight dog to Patrick Cantlay.
Nate, you're a liar, dude. I'm looking at Bet365 and he's 35-1. I just got so excited, dude.
Yeah. He's a favorite over Cam Smith, and he's right there with Shane Lowry. Yes, I mean the head-to-head books and bettors kind of put him in that Lowry Cantlay territory. I trust.
Yeah, actually, can we wrap with this? Because I know a lot of people, especially for major season, they play those pools where the entire field is broken into 6 tiers based on world rankings. You got to pick a guy in each tier. Can I give you like 2 of the mid tiers, and you just tell me amongst this list who you would click?
Yep.
I'll do the tier 2, 3, 4 because I think they're the toughest tier. Bobby Mack, Brooks, Cantlay, Lowry, Cam Smith, Tom Kim, Finau, Thigala, Hideki, Cam Young.
Jeez.
As of now, I took Cam Young.
You got to pick one.
You got to pick one of those.
I mean, those pools also, you kind of have to play those pools like it depends on how big the pool is, right? If it's a big pool.
It's a big pool, and I'll tell you this, I don't know if they all follow this format, but for this one in particular, missing the cut is a death sentence. Your number one priority is to get 6 guys through, and if you get 6 guys through, you've got a really good chance to win.
But you do kind of have to play it like a GPP and DFS because you have to understand ownership, and you want guys. You at least want one or two guys on your roster that are not going to be the chalk pick in every column. If you
I
just
think
go
you, I think you can, I think you can go safe for some of these mid tiers because, like in this pool, the entire pool, like I can tell you for a fact, like half the pool will pick Scotty in tier 1,
Yeah.
and probably 33% are probably going to pick Bryson. So like if you don't take Scotty or Bryson, like in tier 1, I'm going to take Morikawa. I don't need to get out of line anywhere else. Then I can just pick the guys that I want. So
out of that group you read off, I wrote down Bobby Mack, Finau, Brooks, and Young. I think Finau and Bobby Mack, I feel the strongest about in terms of like making the cut. I know I just made a huge case for Brooks's number to win, but
no, I'm with you. Like I would bet Brooks to win before I did this or bet him for top 30.
God, and by the way, him being the same outright as Bobby Mack is insane to me to win.
Insane.
Okay.
And then next tier, can I just rattle off?
Yep.
Minwoo,
nope.
Sungjae, Neiman, Clark, Fitzy, JT, Adam Scott, Rye, Harmon, Spieth. For me, it's Scott, Rye, or Harmon, in my opinion.
Me too. I mean, I also wrote down M and Neiman, but I think it's Scott, Rye, or Harmon too. Who do either one of those guys come out of a better? No, they're all kind of in the. Where's Rye? Where does Rye tee off? No, he tees off AM PM.
Scott's AM PM, Rye's PM, Rye's AM PM.
Where's Harmon? Harmon's AM PM too.
Damn, they're all AM PM.
I mean, if you're thinking about making a cut, I actually think Harmon's probably the safest bet to make the cut.
Yeah, I think so.
And he's proven that with his Open record.
I mean, him or Rye. I mean, Rye has just been so consistent.
Rye's links record is unbelievable.
All right, then give me two more tiers because I think this is really good.
All right,
Connors.
God, yes.
Connors, Homa, Louis, Burns, Straka, Norin, Akshay, Day, Davis Thompson, Nikolai Hogard.
I really like Sepp too. So I like Connors and Sepp. Connors comes out of that, and I know I've already talked a lot about him. Connors comes out of that window early on Friday, like the really early window. He goes off at 7:08 on Friday morning. If the weather stays exactly the same, he gets the majority of his round done before the wind ticks up a touch, right? And I trust him to be there, make the cut.
I think for this pool in particular, right? If the goal here is to get someone you feel good about making the cut, I think, again, I don't know about win equity, but I think I like Connors to make the cut a lot more than I like these guys. Yeah,
I like Sepp too, but I would go Connors there.
And then last one, because then the last tier is just like the rest of the field, and there's a billion names. Tier 5, Siwoo, DJ, Dean, Henley, Rose, Fox, Benyon, Willie Z, Zadenhout, Rasmus.
That's brutal.
I got Rasmus.
That's brutal.
Rasmus he's PM. I don't know how early he goes off Friday, but he is PM AM.
God. That's all the names in that group?
Yeah. Siwoo, DJ, Dean, Henley, Rose, Fox, Benyon, Will Z, Zadenhout, Rasmus. It's Rasmus.
I mean,
I don't even.
Ben-On's kind of a gut play for me here.
I can't do it.
He hits it far. He hits the irons flush. Short game is pretty good. He can't putt.
Has he ever played in an Open?
Yeah, for sure. Let me see.
Well, he's played in a lot of Opens. I'm just stupid. And 23-26 his last two.
Yeah.
He's been shaky since the Memorial.
He's made 5 out of 6 cuts at the Open. He has been shaky since.
I want to know. I never love seeing a withdrawal in the middle of a bad spell.
Yeah.
Without context around it, because he missed the cut at the U.S. Open, he drew from the Travelers, and then he missed the cut at the Scottish.
I don't think he's hurt or anything. I mean, he missed the cut on the number at the Scottish, right? He shot 2 under.
I think Rasmus is hot, man. Back on the home turf, good wave. Rasmus.
I definitely think that would be a tier where I would definitely go like, let me pick a wild card here and Rasmus been on fit that profile.
And I know like this is like a big Delco pool. And I know that all of my Delco friends have like a hard on for Willie Z. And I don't know how much golf that they follow. I think you're going to see Willie Z be popular out of this tier, which
and
awesome.
DJ. I mean, because you're just going to see DJ's name and go like, oh my God, I could get DJ. Why would I pick him over? Why wouldn't I get? Which, I mean, fine, but I think that is a tier where you could make up. You could kind of get different.
And then here, ready? I'm just don't even have to write these down because there's a bunch. I'm gonna read you the first 10 names and just give me a thumbs up when you hear one you like. Pavon, Fowler, Keegan, McKibben, Answer, JT Poston. Any love for your boy this week? Manicero, Vic Perez, Horschel, Hogue, English, Denny.
I don't know if anybody can track that.
McKibben, Pavon, Perez.
Yeah, I like all three of those.
All right, man.
This was fun, man. Always fun. Good stuff talking golf with you, my guy. Everybody needs to check out Kenny's Discord. The Mooney Gang is off the chain. You boys are killing it. I know you're killing it for baseball season. You've got your show on, what is it? What's your show on?
Bet US YouTube show every Monday, Wednesday, Friday. Dude, at the All-Star break.
I saw you were like the guy of the week or something last week or something.
Dude, I'm on the run
of the month.
Dude, it's right. As a show, the entire show, there's 4 cappers. The entire show at the All-Star break's up 55 units. It's pretty damn good. I'm up 35.
Dang.
Yeah, we're hot.
Keep it up, dude. Keep it up. That's awesome stuff. We appreciate you coming on. Everybody needs to join my friend Kenny. We will be are you going to be in my chat tonight?
Yes, I will be.
We got the Wednesday night live Discord chat tonight. There's talks about maybe doing 2 chats. We got my boy Tom Jacobs from the UK. Tom tracks the stuff. He's over there. He knows a lot of these other players that guys don't typically know. We're going to have him live in the chat answering some questions, but he obviously, because he's 5 hours ahead, he wanted to do it a little early. So we're going at 6 p.m. Eastern live in my Discord with Tom. We're going to record it. So if you can't listen till later on tonight, we'll record it for Discord members only. You can check that out. And then we may have another separate chat without Tom again around 9:00, something like that. We might take it deep tonight. So everybody be ready. I'm sure Kenny will be in there, and we'll keep firing. Let's
just start talking at 9 p.m. and then we'll stop when the first guys tee off in the morning.
I say that every year. The Discord, it never happens. I always go to sleep.
What is the first tee time? Eastern time.
Eastern time. Let's see. Well, the first tee time is 6:35 a.m. So that would be 1:35 a.m. our time.
1:35 or 12:35? Hold on.
I think it's 5 hours, right?
Yeah, 1:35. Justin Leonard, T. Hamilton, and Jamie McDonald.
Yeah. But then the next group you get Noren and McKibben.
Yeah.
Yeah, you don't really get like anybody you're super interested in watching until like the 7:30 group with Højgaard, Adam Scott.
Yeah. Jasper Stubbs at 241. Let's go.
Jasper Studs, what I call him. Watch out for that kid. He's actually pretty good.
Dude, I can't wait until I wake up tomorrow at like 7:30 and Nick Taylor is 6 under through 12. It's going to be awesome.
Dude, isn't that is an underrated. That is a lot of fun when we have these events and you just roll over and you check your phone. And are you you know what I do? Like I favorite my guys the day before. And then when I roll over, I go to the leaderboard and I scroll all the way to the bottom.
Dude, I swear to God, before you went into that, I was going to ask you how you check the leaderboard. Like that was the next question coming out of my mouth. I do the exact same thing. I go to the bottom and then I scroll up and it's like playing Minesweeper. You're just praying you don't see any of your guys.
Yep. I don't. Yeah. Just. And maybe is that the same reason? Like if somebody says, Kenny, I got bad news and good news. What do you want first?
Bad news.
Same.
Yeah.
And I think that's similar to that scrolling method is you're kind of getting the bad news first.
Yeah. But then how electric is it when you get to like, T20 and you haven't seen any of your 3 guys yet. And then you're like, oh shit, did I miss them? Or am I about to scroll up to glory?
It's awesome. Well, may everyone scrolling tomorrow morning make them happy. I hope you wake up with morning wood looking at the leaderboard
Yes,
tomorrow.
sir.
Thanks, Kenny. Thanks, everybody. Have a great week. See you.